So hi, this is Mark Payne here from SFL Group. I'm here at Exeter Showground with my good friend Dave, who's behind this little camera we just got out. Maybe to just show you around some of the technical audio systems that we're using here to produce together at West Point for 2013. So the mixing console that I'm using here is the Midas Pro 9. I probably don't need this console. It's an 80 channel console with 30 output, 32 whatever output buses. I'm probably using half of that to do this event. I've got 40 channels coming from stage, including the band and the audio visual feeds. So Midas Pro 9, I mean, I used Pro 2 probably for the first time on this event last year, and I really like the way these boards sound. One of the things the Pro 9 and all of the Pro series has is this just beautiful open mic pre kind of sound with lots of air in it and incredible amounts of digital headroom. The boards are almost impossible to overdrive, I would say, which in the digital domain makes them a joy to use. I also just like how tactile the board is in terms of the way that the adjustment of the knobs. The knobs are actually analog pots which are then digitally encoded. So what's happening is I'm not even too sure they're sensing position like a traditional not potentiometer, but a typical digital control would be in some way sensing position. But I think what these are doing is they're sensing velocity, the change of velocity. So you get a very incredible feel for how you are connected to the adjustments that you're making. So it's a great board. I really like it. I'm not using an awful lot of effects beyond what's standard in the board. One thing that I am doing on the main output is that, as you can see on the right hand screen here, I'm running a multi-band compressor which is overall on the main left and right. I've got a couple of other effects going on. I've got a couple of plate reverbs. I'm using one. I think these reverbs are quite new in the latest firmware release, and I really like the way they sound. I'm using one plate reverb is being used for the drums, another plate reverb is being used for vocals, and then finally I've got a delay for the, effectively I use this delay on vocals. And the delay time is tapped up here on this global tempo meter, which is just the delay time. I also like to be able to get to the kind of delays really quickly, so I have them lined up here. If I actually turn on this assignable control, I can send from my 5 main vocalists, I can choose to send delay. So you can line these up with anything that you want them to be. In my case, it's to send to the delays, which I'm tapping the tempo in here. So it's kind of a really cool way of using the board quickly. So really happy with the way the board sounds. I really like the way the compressors sound and the way the compressors work. So for me, it's a steal. Let me just talk you through a couple of the other things I use, what's going on here. Over here, I've got a MacBook Pro which is running Logic, and what's happening is the band effectively are actually, I've got 30 channels of band and I've got a couple of ambient mics. So there's 32 channels of things that I'd like to record. So what happens is I take AES-50, which is Midas's communication standard. AES-50 carries 24 channels of analog bi-directionally, 24 inputs, 24 outputs. So I take that twice, so if you like 48 channels, hits this DN9650, which converts it in my case to Dante, and then I can send the Dante signal directly into the MacBook. That's coming in here on a Cat5 cable. So it just enables me to record the sessions for the band, which I can then use as a virtual sound check. A little bit later on, I can come, well, as I've got it set up now. You know, so if I want to center in on what's going on with kick snare hats and the rest of the drums, or maybe just the guitars. So in that sense, I've got this virtual sound check environment where I can come back and revisit what the band are doing. As you can see here, the the hall is empty, there's nobody on stage. So it just gives me that ability to look again at my mixes, tighten up on maybe some gates or look at the compression. And also it gives the band a chance to hear what they've just sounded like. So it's a really nice way of working. So yeah, that's AES 50 conversion to Dante so that I can record it. Other systems I tend to use when I'm working live is I generally have a PC kicking around, and that PC is doing two things. It's running L-Acoustics LA Network Manager, which effectively is controlling the speaker system. So I can maybe increase the level of the fills or reduce them from this point, mute the system, unmute the system, and particularly helpful to me when I'm doing system setup. And the other thing that I run is I really like to know where I am in terms of sound pressure levels. It's kind of important to me to not be running a gig like this too loud. I like to run these kind of contemporary worship events in this case at around 94, 96 dBA weighted over a 5-minute LEQ. So I use tuning capture to do that because it gives me a really nice way of seeing that information. So tuning capture I use to align the system in the first place, but also when I've done my system alignment, then I use it to actually monitor sound pressure levels in the hall. So that's really my front of house setup. I also have something just in case somebody wants to play a CD, and I record to this Marantz deck. I'm only recording the preaching and the messages that are going on as part of this event. So effectively that's front of house. So let's go and have a look at some of the systems that Dave and I are using on stage. Okay, so we're now at the kind of rock and roll end of what's going on here at the stage in Dave's monitor world. And what's down here is this is basically the brains of the mixing console. I know we're at the stage end and the mixing console is at the front of house position, but the DSP for the Midas board actually lives, most of the DSP lives in this rack here, so this really is the engine, if you like, of the mixing desk. And then it connects with a remote pair of Cat5 cables, the X and the Y snake, a redundant pair which carry any audio and control backwards and forwards to the front of house console from its brain. Above that we've got a DL351, which is a modular I/O box, and this is where the mic pre's all live. So not much to see from the front, and it's quite dark around the back. We'll try and show you some pictures of what's going on around the back of this unit. So my name is Mark Payne. I've been here with David Heath. Together we're producing sound, lighting and video and environment and draping and staging for the Together at West Point event. And it's been my pleasure to take you through some of the audio solutions in particular that we've used here. You can contact me, mark@sflgroup.co.uk, and why not visit our website at www.sflgroup.co.uk. Thank you very much.